I have a question in my mind. What is it to be human? And how culture began, how did it got here, and where is it going? Nothing much, really. And well, this has been the work of the past 10 years in my life, both philosophically and artistically. And today I'm actually, well, talking about what I've found so far and where I'm at. This is pretty much the publishing of these works out of the whole art work. So let's begin at the beginning, please. We know that we've been through three stages mainly. From the actual creation of the universe, the Big Bang, then we get life about 4 billion years ago. And then we encounter culture. These are the three emergent phenomena that we have been through to get where we are at right now. And please. There are many theories about how culture began, how that happened. Of course, that we were able to walk upright, the lateralization of the brain, opposing thumbs, you know, many things. But I think the key point had to be something very, very simple, something that could be spread culturally and happen to one individual. And this is very interesting because it's something that happens today under new guises, something that is so overlooked that we haven't actually paid attention to it, and it's something that happens every single day, every single minute in each one of our lives. And that is exactly how I started this talk. It's a question. The ability to question ourselves is the pinnacle. It's the basic keystone of culture. And how do we get to the question exactly? To be presented with a question from us, we were able to perceive ambiguity. So to get to ambiguity, actually, it was led to us by the hand of death. And how does that happen? Well, if we could put it mathematically, let's say, I think the formula will be in the presence of death, on the light of affection, an individual becomes self-aware because he or she realizes the inevitability of his or her own death. And that is interesting because if you realize when we are aware of our own death at a certain point in our lives, that's when we actually start living. That's the moment that we know we are going to die, so we have to live. And it's so ironic that I think that's a moment exactly when humanity began, when the first individual realized exactly that point. And of course, that was a moment of ambiguity. And at that point, three things happened, three amazing things, phenomena happened that pretty much materialized what the human mind is. So the first one I call the culture shock. And the culture shock, can you imagine this organism, this body, that has been evolving for 4 billion years, and at a certain point, it gets a roommate. For 4 billion years, its sole purpose has been to pretty much survive. You know, we think of survival as something violent, you know, either chasing someone or being chased. But it's actually, in essence, it's a very simple balance, an ebb and flow of, you know, keeping a balance, a homeostatic process of what happens inside of the body proper and the outside, the environment. So can you imagine hitting this organism, us, the body, with now a search of meaning? It's like a washing machine processor that now we're telling it to rewire itself to run a car at the same time. So it's brutal. I mean, if you think about it, in 180,000 years or so, to change these brains, these bodies that have been evolving as a bioorganism, to put this pressure on them, and in such a small period of time, tell them to think, just put culture on them. It's an amazing thing what these bodies have been able to achieve. And I think that this is the first big paradigm that has to be looked at. And this means that we have to really think, rethink a lot of things of how they come to be, like alcohol and drug abuse, and why people give search of meaning and just give it away because they can't take it, and just resort to blind faith, or the other way around. People that just don't want well-being. They can't take that because they are searching for meaning. So this is an interesting, very, very interesting subject, and I think the foundation probably of a new kind of medicine, new kind of, a lot of things can come from this light. Please. Then the second thing that happens is that on the face of ambiguity, the brain begins to react in two ways. One is, on the face of ambiguity, the mind reacts in a scientific way, which is it looks for answers. It puts words to name things, so they are not ambiguous anymore. And then on the other way, that's this way. The other way is on the face of certainty, it looks for questions. It's obvious. It has to. It's a balance. That should be 50-50. But we live in a world right now where we only look for answers. We are not looking enough for questions. And it reflects itself in the way education works right now. So if you look at education, we need to show our kids, we need to teach them to ask more questions. If you teach them how to question, learning will follow. And that's a big revolution in education that I see that is already happening. And it's I think, key to the development of culture. And the third thing that happens is the central point for today, which is the collective experience. So the name, collective and experience. What is collective? Look at our bodies. This sense of individualism is a total illusion. If you look inside yourselves, you are a collection, we are a collection of bones, hundreds of bones, millions and millions of cells, billions of atoms, of nerves, of many things that work together and eventually die. And these many members, these many things work together to become the illusion of you, the I. So why not think, work on our little egos for a moment, and why not think that we could be a little piece, a little member, something, part of something bigger than ourselves. And why experience? Experience is because this phenomenon, this entity, this mind is learning. And this is interesting because it's learning. We can see that it's learning because it's actually reacting to, impulses or reactions from the environment in a different way with time. It reacts less catastrophically. So we know it's learning. It's developing a mind. So then, of course, we know there are different superorganisms in nature, and these, like bees, ants, termites, that we know that have self-sacrificial behavior. And for example, bees. There are certain individuals in this superorganism that they actually sacrifice themselves for we know this for the hive, but they don't do it because they want to. They don't have a choice. It's just programmed in their genotypes or phenotypes. So it's different with humans. We do have a choice, and it's a different situation. We react in a different way. It's not that it's programmed in our genes. We actually do it because we want to. So how does the collective experience manifest itself to us? There are two ways that we know that the collective experience is here. One is love, and the other is justice. And what is justice and what is love? So love is when we have self-sacrifice with affection. We are doing self-sacrifice for someone that we love, for someone that we care about. There is affection involved. And justice is when there is an idea involved. It's when there is no affection, but there is principles. So it's love and affection. There's feelings and there's thoughts. Of course, we know they are related. And the more we learn about this, we know they are more and more unrelated, but it's about directions. That's the interesting part. So, of course, the collective experience, please, is evolving. The collective experience, this is the interesting part. It evolves, but it evolves through, this is where the culture is a series of revolutions and paradigms that fuel each other and so forth. One revolution leads to breaking a paradigm, shifting a paradigm, and that leads to another revolution, and that's the way it works. Now, the revolutions that we're looking into right now, that we are going to have to be quiet revolutions. No more bullets, no more shots. These are going to be quiet revolutions. They're going to happen in the internet. They're going to happen, all around the world, and they're going to be global. And not also global, also in local terms. But they're going to be happening everywhere. One revolution that I see happening, I think, that is right in front of us, is a consumer revolution. And this consumer revolution is going to be when different individuals, we're going to be able to voice our demands and stop abuse from certain collectives smaller than the collective experience, such as corporations like banks and different types of corporations, for example. And this is interesting because we're going to be able to actually react against, in an intelligent way, as a collective, to defend the individual and the environment, which is, it's like a sandwich. We're going to make these smaller, medium-sized collectives, sandwich them in a way. And this is a very interesting process because we're also reconciling the actual culture with the environment. It's a very long process that is starting to take place right now. And once this happens, once the consumer revolution, we're going to see it fulfilled when we shift one important paradigm, which is efficiency. Efficiency, individuals are not efficient. We have this illusion that we have to be efficient. And we can't, because love is not efficient. Justice is not efficient. There's no way that can be true. And we have this illusion that it is so. And another efficiency paradigm is the one with corporations. A corporation that is efficient is one that produces more with the less means, right? That's what our idea of efficiency. But also we have the efficiency with the environment. An efficient company is the one that doesn't pollute. So those two efficiencies are going to go like this, in the future. And it's already happening. So we have to shift, and something has to give. And what is going to give is our sense of what the economy is. So the last, when this happens, when we get to this point, we get to the last paradigm that we have to shift, and that is the one of transcendence. Transcendence, of course, is a very difficult, because that has to do with religious thinking. And this is the toughest one, but when we get to this point, we're going to be ready. We're talking about thousands of years, maybe, here. We're ahead. So the sun no longer revolves around the earth. And so transcendence is no longer going to be about the individual. It's going to shift. Again, our egos have to become smaller every time. And we're talking about really long ahead. So at that point, imagine this situation where we're thinking about transcendence of the collective, not of ourselves. And at that point, just think about it. The universe is going to cool. It's going to end. The show is going to stop. That's a fact. The curtain is going to come down. So we were talking about 13, maybe 14, 15 billion years from now. We're right in the middle. And at that point, the collective experience is maybe going to be speaking like a first person, right? And I don't know, maybe I'm out on a limb here, but maybe what is going to be worried about then is going to be maybe just, I don't know, creating other universes, or I don't know what the hell is going to be going on then, but maybe just leave a footprint. Something like, I don't know, just leave a footprint as a message in a bottle, something like that. Something that says, I was here, we will triumph, you are not alone, in the form of, I don't know, geometry or music. Thank you.